Hey, welcome back to Mike's road trip up to the Sequoia National Forest. This is the third video that I've done in the year 2017. It's getting into the fall, so it's getting a little cooler. And we got some great nature shots. You can see some birds, some fish we got some snakes. Let's see, we also got some other wildlife and some great scenery. Now, we're driving north of Johnsondale, and we're going to be highlighting campsite number 5, which is right off of Peppermint Creek. And you can see there the red route is the route north that goes north of Johnsondale. And you can see the green is the actual vehicle accessible paths in campsite number 5, which is right along the Peppermint Creek, very close to Peppermint Falls. And actually, if you Google Peppermint Creek lower campsite, you will actually see on the other side of the road there's a campsite that is more geared towards accommodations, and it's actually a paid campsite. You have to pay about $17 a night to stay there. This campsite is directly on the other side and is completely free. And as you can see by the green routes there's plenty of vehicle accessibility. And even at each end of these trailheads, there's at least half a dozen campsites each. So there's a good at least 20 or 30 independent, isolated campsites along the stream. Now you can see just here to the left, there's the upper campsite. And we're actually going to zoom up to Dome Rock. Now that's Dome Rock right there, and we're going to give you some landmarks of the upper Kern Valley. So you can see the valley there. You can see Needles Peak, and then directly to the right of Needles Peak in the channel there, that's actually the Kern River. So we're in the upper Kern River Valley. Oh, and here's Peppermint Falls, and it's got a great shot of Peppermint Falls, and you can see Dome Rock in the back there, the round rock that was there. That's Dome Rock. Now, we started at the top of Peppermint Creek, and we wanted to get some shots of the creek. It was very low flow towards late summer, early fall, and that's because a lot of the snow has already melted off, and there's been very little rain this year. And you've got all different types of geography along the Peppermint Creek, and here's a really nice, calm spot. I would say this is at least a football field long, and it's very level, very calm. And so you can really see it's about 2.5 feet deep right here, and you can see crystal clear straight to the bottom. So we were looking for fish as we went down the stream, and there was a couple of interesting things. We saw there was a man-made dam that actually made that really nice long stretch of stream that's very peaceful and quiet. Now here's another part of the stream. As you can see, it's actually cutting through some of the granite, and somebody threw some rocks there to kind of dam things up. And then you have a really deep pool here. And then the stream terrain changes. It's all different types of terrain, and there's some really nice deep pockets, and then there's some really shallow parts where it's running pretty much directly over the rocks. So we just wanted to highlight the different stream conditions and give you an idea. There's some really great fishing spots, and it's really just a really nice stream. Okay, so you can see some logs there. That's where some fish could be hiding. Now, this is actually quite a ways down the stream. We weren't able to cover every single sector of the stream. We just wanted to get a couple of the main spots that are accessible, good spots for fishing. Obviously, here you have a nice spot where there might be some fish hiding under the logs. You could do some fishing here. And we're getting closer to Peppermint Creek Falls. This stream actually empties into the Peppermint Creek Falls. So you can see here the stream leaves the forest and hits basically a huge granite rock, and it starts to make these bathtubs, is what they're called. As the water flows over the rock, it makes these natural formations, these pools, and they call those bathtubs. And a certain time of the year, you'll see a lot of people out there playing in the bathtubs and having fun soaking in those. And you can see the stream actually cuts through this huge granite slab. And as we move down the stream, you're going to see some breathtaking views. And obviously, you can see the Kern River Valley there. All right, now we're down at the bottom of the stream, and it's some great scenery. This is also a place where people like to hang out and play. And this is a little bit further back. You can get a really good shot of the Peppermint Creek Falls right there. And as you can see in the background, there's Dome Rock, that rounded rock. That's Dome Rock, so give you some perspective. Now, we came back up the waterfall, and I really wanted to look for fish. I knew there was some fish in the stream, but I didn't see any on my way down. I was kind of in a rush to get down. I wanted to take my time, walk back up the stream, and see if I could see any fish. And there you go. The first area outside of the granite zone where the stream was kind of in the woods still. First section, I saw a couple of fish just hanging out right there, so I thought that was really cool. Got some shots of that. And then I wanted to actually move up a little bit, move up the stream and see if there was more fish, and sure enough, there's this nice big fat fish right here. I think that's a trout. Not sure if it's a rainbow trout or what type of trout it is, but he seems to be doing quite well. Real fat trout. And then I saw some ripples in the water while I was filming this. So I was like, what are those ripples coming from? This was a real deep pocket in the stream. And sure enough, there's another fish right there. There's two fish hanging out right there in the direct sunlight, not even hiding under a log or anything. Now I moved up to that one spot that I was telling you that's about a football field long and very calm and crystal clear. And as you can see, there's plenty of fish in this zone right here. And they were hopping and jumping, and they were teaming up. There was a couple of fish right there as well. So plenty of fish in the Peppermint Creek. Now I'm on my way up to the top of the falls, and I run across this snake right here. And obviously I gave him plenty of space. And we actually walked up to the very top camping site, which is vehicle accessible, but just so you know, the roads are actually, some of them are really bad compared to others, so you really need a Jeep. Definitely need a truck platform to be driving around off-roading on this campsite. And there's Needles Peak right there, and you can see that's just a great spot to sit there and camp underneath Needles Peak in the wilderness, and basically you're away from all society and civilization, and you have your freedom and your privacy, and you can really take your time and enjoy this out, the scenery out there. And that's Dome Rock, so you're nestled between Dome Rock and Needles, and you're sitting, okay, now this is halfway down between the creek and the upper campsite. There's a nice wide opening area here where there's a couple of the paths converge, and you can either take one path and go up north to the top camping site, or you can take another path and go down to the camp out near the stream. And there's plenty of isolated camping spots all along this campsite, so there's plenty of room for plenty of people. When I was there, there was about 3 or 4 people that came in and out, and I would never even see them from my campsite. I would actually have to start hiking to run into them. Do wasps eat meat? I think the answer to that is yes. There's some wasps. They were messing with my food, so I threw a couple chunks of pork on the table, and lo and behold, wasps eat meat. Now, I did an earlier video, which you can see, my Sequoia camping trip. I was talking about the dead trees, 2017. There's been a prolonged drought for almost a full decade, and unfortunately, even in this campsite number 5, there was a couple of patches where there was a lot of dead Sequoia pine trees, and that fell victim to the, I guess, the bark beetles. Any of the trees near the stream, they're all healthy and doing fine. It's only the trees that are kind of in the arid, more arid parts of the campsite that suffered. And there was not that many that actually died, all be told. So that was a campsite right there. There's a huge lizard. I actually don't have the right perspective, but that was about a 1.5 foot long lizard. All right, here's one of the camp signs. Obviously, clean up after yourself, and don't use fireworks and these kind of messages. Okay, now this is a shot when I was down at the bottom of the waterfalls, and there were some beautiful flowers, tons of insects, bumblebees, crickets, butterflies, all kinds of insects absolutely everywhere. A lot of wildlife. And there's another shot of the Peppermint Creek Falls, just absolutely beautiful scenery. One thing you do need to be careful when you go down into the valley like this. I actually hurt myself, and this might actually have been private property, and because of medical emergency I had to cut through it to find the access out of the valley. But I did run into some overheating issues, so definitely want to be careful with that. Enjoy yourself and have a safe time.